Ariana Grande announces a break from public life. History writer and influencer Hank Green faces backlash for using AI tools. And Spider-Man Brand New Day has a wild opening weekend. Welcome to the Roundtable. I'm Evan Barber, and I'm here today with Irene Tucker, who's a part of our creative studio, Bree Naughton, who writes the One Conversation email, and Ashley Schutzel, who's a part of our advancement department. Thank you all for joining the podcast today.
Thank you.
If you're new to the podcast, each week we look at 3 big cultural conversations that we think are shaping the world teens are growing up in one way or another. We also start each episode with one trending song, slang term, or Axis resource. And our goal is to help you leverage pop culture to start intentional conversations with the next generation about life, faith, purpose, relationships, and technology. That said, this week's slang of the week is the word larping. Now, before this week, what would you all have said the word larping referred to?
I see it as like prancing through a field, like I'm LARPing. That's how I picture that word.
Prancing through a field in costume, or you're not even thinking of that?
Nope,
You just think it sounds like
leaping, but like LARPing.
Okay.
Like 7 Lords of LARPing.
Yes.
Yeah.
It made me think of whale hunting.
What?
Is that called LARPing?
Oh, yeah, I get that.
I think it's harpooning.
Harpooning is the word I would have used.
Well,
but
when you said LARPing, I was like, yeah, whale hunting.
okay, this is not the direction I thought this would go at all.
Well, the answer is we didn't have an answer.
Well, there's the acronym, though, right? Live action role playing. You've seen the people, in some cases, prancing through fields, but wearing various costumes of, Knights of the Round Table or wizards or probably Sith Lords, whatever it is. Live action role playing is
Maybe
what
they're
that
role
was.
playing whale hunting.
There you
Is
go.
right.
Probably. I was
LARPooning.
It's anything is possible, I suppose.
LARPooning.
But the term has evolved from the acronym meaning to now refer to pretending to be something you are not. It is not literally used to refer to wearing a costume in the sort of old way of pretending to be something that you are not, but to sort of like the word poser might be used. If you are LARPing, you are being inauthentic, essentially. That's kind of the idea. It suggests to me that authenticity is kind of what's at stake here. You're pretending to be something that you're not. You're pretending to know about this artist or to be a big fan of this show or whatever, and really you're just you're faking. You're faking.
It's like a replacement for poser.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that people actually use the word poser.
I was going to say,
That
I haven't heard
often?
that word poser in a minute.
Yeah.
What?
Mhm,
It's the
mhm.
refresh.
It's the refresh.
Okay.
What were you going to say, Brie?
So when I got dressed this morning and I said it's giving Peter Pan.
Were you LARPing?
Was I LARPing in that moment?
That would be like the old version of LARPing.
That would be the old version.
Okay.
Right? I don't know, because I don't think you really wanted to be Peter Pan.
No,
but
I
also
wasn't intentionally trying.
the older version is the costume version, the live action role playing.
Okay.
This is
It's hard to separate it.
yeah, I think that the connection is pretty intuitive here.
Yeah.
Because you are pretending to be someone in the old way of using the word. In the new way of using the word, you're still pretending to be someone, but you're not wearing a costume literally.
Right.
Maybe
It's not. There's no
Figuratively,
suspension
you
of
are.
disbelief. It's like I am.
yeah. Like, oh, I've listened to these
A
guys
knower of
since
grammar.
day one. It's like,
Mhm.
no, have you?
Like if I came in dressed as a surfer, but like I don't surf.
Yeah.
I could never stand on a surfboard.
I'll never
But
not see
but it would be
poser,
it would
though.
be more explicit though. Like you would it would not just be, oh, you're trying to look like
But
this.
I'm
It would be you're acting as if
Like,
it's true
right,
of you.
I know.
If that was what was
Okay.
happening, you could be accused of LARPing.
It's so mean.
Yeah.
It's so mean.
Oh, yeah, slang tends to be mean, it feels like.
Well, so here's my question. Why do you guys think authenticity is so important to the next generation?
Because I feel like they have been raised on social media that is very performative, and I think they're craving reality. Like, wait, I don't want the fake version of you. I want to see the real version of you.
Okay. Okay. Agree.
Yeah, I agree. I think so much of culture is a pendulum, and I think we have swung too far into like the digital age. Everything is not as it seems. And intuitively, I do think this generation is, just clawing and dying for something real.
Yeah, I mean, like you said with the digital stuff, there's so many standards that are seen that are just quite literally not able to be met because they're not real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Right.
just
Yeah.
wanting
For
to
real.
get back to being real.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems like this term, even though it can be used in a way that is, probably just annoying, and it's like you don't have to call something LARPing just because someone doesn't know everything about a particular musician or topic or whatever. Underneath it clearly is this desire for authenticity. I think for the reasons you guys just articulated.
To which I say, that's a great desire, authenticity. And to desire that for the people around you, for your friends, for yourself, all of it. But it's also like, dang, every one of us knew that person that, if you didn't know like all the ins and all the cool things about a particular band, like they'll just shame you for it. Like you're not a true fan.
Right.
I felt that way in theater school.
Don't be that. Don't be that kid.
Yeah.
Don't be that kid.
Yeah.
I do love that this generation is desiring authenticity. I think our whole world, our whole culture for the most part is, but it's not the what, it's the how you do it. Like don't punch down when you can punch up. So
what do you mean by that? Attack people who are in higher stature than you?
Yes. Uppercut. No, where it's just like, if you want to call yourself or your friends up, you know what I mean? Don't punch them in order to do it. Just be like, man, I actually love, like, you don't have to know who this band is. Like, let me tell you about them.
Sure.
Or you don't have to know about this movie. Like, let me tell you about it. Like, don't make people feel dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still punch him.
Still punch them. Just punch them
nonetheless.
in a more helpful direction.
Upward.
Yeah.
We'll just say like pull them up. Don't punch down, pull them up.
Pull them up.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ashley.
I got you.
That's good.
Thank you.
We do not condone violence of any sort on this podcast. The term, again, is LARPing. The meaning has changed, but I think we can all, I think the change makes some sense. First thing from the top three, Grande steps back. Ariana Grande's 8th studio album, which is called Petal, like the flower, not like the gas pedal. You guys get it? Came out last week to reviews that weren't super excited about it. Days later, Ariana Grande announced that she plans to take a step back from public life due to endless, ongoing scrutiny, most of which centers around the fact that, as The Telegraph puts it, she now has an extreme skeletal level of thinness, and it's reached a point where it can no longer be ignored in good conscience. Ashley, let's start with you on this one. Take us into the conversation around Ariana Grande. What are people saying? What are people kind of disagreeing about?
Yeah, so I saw where so she's finishing her tour and then she's taking a step back. She was supposed to be in like some theater shows. Yeah, in London, taking a step back from that. And I listened to the album. The reviews were very mixed. A lot of people said that it was just the same. It was very redundant. The same as her last music. I will say I felt like I listened to it and I was like, is this the same song I just listened to? A few times. I had a lot of thoughts on it, but then I was getting more into about how like all of the public scrutiny, and I was kind of thinking about like, what we just spoke about, how in the digital age, everything is just so apparent, everything is online and everything is so accessible. I was thinking about like when I was in high school and like, receiving like scrutiny about like whether it was my looks or the way that I acted or things like that. And it's, I was in a small town, so it's 200 people.
200 people.
Okay, well, there's way more than that. But like, we'll just say 200 were judging me at the time.
Oh, okay. I was like, that's a very small.
It was bigger than that. But I was thinking about like that. And then I'm like, if I put myself in Ariana Grande's shoes and I have everybody, like that number is, drastically higher. Like I already felt bad about myself at that point.
Yeah.
Not having so many people judge me. But then think about her and having everyone nitpick every single thing about you. I can't even imagine how hard that would be. I feel like I would be in the same place of like, I'm going to go and hide for some time. Whether she takes some time away and goes and, writes some new music or whatever it is. But like, I feel like I would be in that same boat of like, I just want to take a step back. Like, this is really mentally draining.
So you felt, you feel pretty sympathetic for her. Like, this is really.
Yeah, I think it would be hard to be that. I mean, she's young. Like, she's.
How old is she?
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, 30 is young and she's been in the public eye for so long.
Yep.
Is the thing. And I feel like, once you step into that place, like people are already talking about you. So it's been how many years that she's just been a topic of discussion, whether
her
it's
whole life.
Her whole life. Yeah.
She was a teenager on Nickelodeon, and if any of you've seen those, like that documentary, this has been her entire life. And I think the difficult part for her is that she might step away or step back, but as soon as she steps back in, no matter what's changed, whether it's her weight, whether it's her music, whatever it is, people are going to judge it no matter what.
Again. Yeah.
And I think that is a result of the life that she has led and her career. And I feel like there's no escaping for her, which I think is really sad.
Yeah, I don't think there's I don't I mean, I can understand again just taking that mental break, kind of pull yourself back, get out of the headlines or at least stop seeing yourself, populate in these headlines constantly. But I can't even imagine like that it would just be so hard.
I definitely have, of course, like empathy for that perspective of it. But I mean, even obviously like sitting in this room, we're female dominant in this episode, right?
It's true.
And so the three of us as women moving about in the world, I think all of us could say that we're hyper aware of the scrutiny I think that women face in general across the board. At the same time, there's a portion of me that feels kind of torn though about it, because at what point, let me put it this way. Online, you're always going to have like horrible people saying horrible things. Right. But what I'm also seeing is quite a bit of concern. And at what point, like, is that type of concern and expressing that type of concern actually the most loving and the most caring thing? I know that it might feel like critique, but like clearly we are witnessing somebody that's on a very visible platform that's hurting in some capacity. And I don't want to, I have no idea. I don't know her.
Sick.
Yeah.
Like,
we have no idea.
Yeah.
Like I have no idea. I don't know her obviously, but clearly something's happening because there's been like a drastic change.
Yeah.
Right. And so at what point is it loving a fellow human in a fellow human experience to say like, hey, something's not right.
Right. There are a couple of layers to that though, I think, because the vast majority of us do not have access to Ariana Grande. We can't take her aside and say, hey, you doing all right?
Right.
If anything, I think what we're talking about is, at what point is it appropriate to use a public figure as an object lesson to make points to others in our life?
Right.
And that's sort of the thing that I think people are debating. Some people have made the point that, we don't have to, it isn't necessarily going to be helpful to make a bunch of content talking about how concerned you are about this public figure that will never hear what you say.
Yeah.
Maybe it's more helpful to talk directly to maybe the young women in your life and ask, hey, what are you seeing here? What do you think about what's going on with Ariana Grande? That sort of thing. But I kind of wanted to just ask the three of you, at what point, maybe if ever, would you say it is important to use a public figure as a sort of object lesson in this kind of way to start these kinds of conversations? And obviously we're doing it here on the podcast to a certain extent.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to think of the article that I read, but it had talked about like, yes, the public scrutiny is probably going to cause mental distress for Ariana Grande, but is this situation that is being observed, her and her body and everything, by a lot of young women, is that going to create a lot of problems as well for thousands of millions young women? So it's like, you know, you have to kind of weigh the cost here. Like, who are we actually trying to help? Kind of like what you're saying, Evan. And it's really complicated because it is at the cost of a human being, a real person. She's a real person. And, but there are real young women following her and looking at her and going, I want to look like that. I'll do whatever it takes to look like that. And thinking that that is to be worshipped. And,
I do have to, I agree with that, because what the huge difference is that, to my knowledge, there is nobody out there going through any sort of surgical efforts to look like me. Whereas, like, there's tons of people that are changing their entire personas, their entire face, their entire body to personify Ariana Grande, right? And so it becomes this real murky line for she's a real living, breathing, created in the image of God human.
Yeah.
And yet she's also this public figure and this public persona that so many girls look to as an example. It makes it really, really tough to kind of know, like, how do we walk this line well?
Yeah.
You know?
Ashley, were you gonna add something?
Yeah, I was just thinking about, I think it's so hard to, I mean, without knowing all the facts, like, you know, is she ill? Does she have an eating disorder? Like, is this just the way that her body is? Like, it's so hard to dive into that conversation without, you know, thinking of each of those questions and each of, you know, it could be yes, it could be no. And if it is yes, then, you know, what's, it's a completely different conversation. I will say, did y'all watch the music video? Okay. It was a little wild. Not recommended for everybody. There is like a viewer discretion in the beginning of it.
She's quite the visual artist.
She is. That is true. But I will say, like, when I watched it, I was like, wow, this is really, she feels very strongly about being criticized by all of these people that are, you know, casting directors or whoever they are.
And she kills them all in the video.
She does.
Right?
She defeats them with a chainsaw. And so it's wild, but you know, you watch her go through 4 different auditions, and each time she's dressed as a different person. She's using a different way of trying to obtain the part, and each time it's like not good enough. Like, you know, too desperate, too seductive. Like, in every single thing, it was just different. And it was like she covered all the bases, hit all of the things, and every single time it was still like not good enough.
Which I feel like is the story that a lot of women live. In general. And I this is pure speculation. No idea why the album is named Petal or anything like that. But what it made me think of is, you know, when you're a little girl and you pick petals off a flower, he loves me not, he loves me, he loves me not. And just like all of the ways that I think we as women grow up feeling like, oop, that got plucked off, oop, that got plucked off, oop, that, until you're just left with just this like bare core.
Yeah.
You know?
And cry, that's so real. Yeah.
And I feel for her in that. And I feel like I feel like it is a symptom of what women across every stage, across every generation, across every socioeconomic feel like. Hers is just exemplified because she's on the world stage, you know?
Yeah, I think it's just ironic that she made such a statement with her music and her music video, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
I think that's hard, but I mean, the point was made. Like, she was trying to make a gritty and real and raw and honest point, and you can see that in the video. But it's like,
When in the
it's
whole
artistic.
album.
Yeah,
Because
right.
she says it's not a breakup song to like anybody or any past ex or anything like that, but it's to the industry. And like the criticism that she's faced and how I was reading the whole thing on the pedal and the symbolism with that is that it was, every time she did something and was not good enough, it was another petal fell.
Okay.
Until that
There we
flower
go.
was nothing.
There we go.
And so, yeah, you
Look at
were
me.
pretty spot on with that there.
Isn't there a lyric in one of the songs too, though, that's about like flower growing up from between concrete?
There is. And
Something
so
like
that's
that.
what it shows in that video is it's growing up between concrete and her star that's like on the ground. But that's the flower that is dwindling and losing its petals.
Ashley, what's the conversation that you think needs to happen on this topic?
I think it depends on the topic. Is it just Ariana Grande as a person? Is it her music? Is it?
I'm thinking specifically of the scrutiny and the concern about her body image.
Okay. Yeah, I think if you're, talking with your children about it, it's you can either go broad with, why would we judge another's body? Why would we judge the way another one looks? Or if you're, narrowing in on her, it's, what do you think about Ariana Grande? Like, do you feel like she feels healthy or, and then dive into it into why? But it's just a simple, like, step into it.
So part of the concern around Ariana Grande is how potentially for, young women, a lot of her fan base is younger, exposure to this level of, as the Telegraph puts it, extreme skeletal thinness could normalize potentially something like an eating disorder.
Yeah.
But I think in another way, online normalization of various things was part of the concern around the online creator and influencer Hank Green, who had begun normalizing an apparently extreme level of AI use. And that brings us to part 2 of our podcast, a completely human-generated section of content. That's a little joke.
I got it.
All right. So last week, online influencer Hank Green, who creates educational content, he has the Crash Course YouTube channel with his brother John Green, who also wrote the books The Fault in Our Stars and those sorts of things. Kind of a smart, intellectual, literary online type. He used the phrase, "I appreciate the pushback," in a monologue. And then his fans freaked out. That phrase on its own hit any weird chords with any of you?
I feel like I've said it before.
I've said
Yeah.
it before.
Yeah.
The thing about AI is it's modeled and written after human behavior. So
Okay. So you're all compromised, is what I'm hearing. No, I'm kidding.
That phrase is definitely
I'm feeling a
in my
little
vocabulary.
pushback.
Yeah.
I'm feeling a little pushback.
No, the fans freaked out because they were like, that's a phrase that AI uses all the time. That probably means you're using AI to create most of your stuff, Hank. As the AI detection software Pangram's website puts it, which is an award-winning AI detection software. Apparently, it's like 99.98% accurate, which is pretty crazy, because it used to not be that good. There was an AI detection tool that judged the U.S. Constitution to have been AI written a couple of years ago, which was funny.
Sounds about right.
But this website says AI writing contains structural, stylistic, and semantic patterns that can all be detected by a trained eye. And the phrase, "I appreciate the pushback," is one such tell for many people. Even though I think you make a good point, AI is based off of human communication, but it does seem to latch on to particular phrases.
For sure.
And
Like
kind of,
quietly. Like,
yeah, that word.
Delve.
She quietly.
Yeah. So my question to you is, what do you make of the backlash that Hank Green received for his use of AI? Does it seem appropriate? Does it seem unreasonable? What do you think it says about his fan base?
I have so many thoughts.
Okay.
On the one hand, it is reasonable because they freaked out, and then he was like, "Well, yeah, I have
You're
been
right.
using it. You're right. You're right." On the other hand, though, as a writer, it drives me crazy, like because of what Irene said, is that it was modeled after how well-written pieces have been done in the past. And so now humans who aim to write and create and say things beautifully and artistically, and every line is scrutinized. I mean, you mentioned it, like writing the one conversation. It's like we've had feedback of like, is this written by people? And so literally at the bottom of our one conversation email, it's powered by people, like so that our audience knows that humans are writing this. So I just feel very mixed on both sides of it.
Yeah.
I think it's frustrating because his fan base demands so much output from him. And he had like, what was it? They said I think there was an article, maybe it was the one that you linked. It was like he has accomplished more in 20 years or something than some people can accomplish in 200 or something like that. And is that because of the demand on him that he has put on himself or people have put on him? I think that once you put yourself at that pace, you can't scale back, or he hasn't been able to. And so I think that, if they're demanding so much of him and then criticizing him, like, I feel like it makes sense that he was in a hard spot.
Well, it's an interesting topic because I've seen some people point out that his production schedule is really self-imposed. Even if it is being demanded by others, I think he would be in a position where he could set boundaries on that. And that is, in fact, what he has done now. He has said, okay, I'm going to slow this down. I felt like I had to produce so rapidly, and that was encouraging me to use AI because that's faster, of course, which allows you to kind of perpetuate the intense cycle. So I feel like in a lot of ways, this ends up being a conversation about boundaries and about, to what extent do we have to accept the pace that our culture insists upon,
It's so funny because the whole promise of AI is that it's going to allow us to rest. And you know what I'm saying? It's a lie. Because of this very conundrum that he's in of, well, now that I can do things faster with the help of AI, now more and more and more is expected of me.
The
other thing that's really tough, though, is that, again, human nature is that we make mistakes. And we would hope that when we make them and we own them, that would be celebrated as humility. But I feel like we're entering into such a weird stage of culture, too, because it's like this like gotcha stage, And
like, we caught you. You were using AI.
We'll never trust you again, And I'm like, well, what did you want from him?
Yeah.
Let's like break it down. He was using whether it was self-imposed or not, he was using a tool because he felt the need that he had to keep up, and he got called out on it. He admitted it and then set boundaries.
Yep.
What else are we asking for?
Yeah.
People?
Right. Now we cancel him?
Right.
Like, what?
No. Yeah.
Cancel him and let him rest.
There's this poet that I love to follow. She like interviews people in the park, and then or they tell her something about themselves, and then she writes like a poem for them or whatever. And she writes on a typewriter. And there's so many times where I've been like, oh, I just want to write on a typewriter or something. Because even like when your automatic Grammarly or whatever pops up to correct your sentences or whatever, like it changes the soul of things. And so like it's like, man, I just want to start writing everything with a typewriter first.
Well, and I've heard that Christopher Nolan does that with his screenplays.
I love Christopher Nolan.
Which
I've heard he does so many things. And doesn't do so many things.
Yeah.
Like have a cell phone.
Or email. I love that for him because I don't like email.
I love that for him.
To your point about the soul of things, one of the things that Green said was that in that particular moment when he used the phrase, I appreciate the pushback, it was actually not in a script that he was reading. That was an ad lib.
Yeah.
And so I think the concern that a lot of people had was, oh, your brain has been marinating in this content long enough that you are just starting to sound like AI from
That's
your
crazy
Or
though.
maybe that's just
AI was
his-
modeled after
Yeah.
humans.
Sure. Yeah. No,
It's just like winning.
it's circular
No,
though,
yeah.
It's like everything feeds into itself. You were you saying something? Did you finish your thought?
I don't remember, but I was going to say that I like the boundaries thing. Like, it's hard for me to set boundaries.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
the same, like I will use AI at home to like create my meal plans for the week,
Yeah.
to like create
heck yeah.
schedules, like,
Mhm.
do all of those things. And it's like, great, okay, I did that in 3 minutes when typically it would have taken me 3 hours because I never know what I want to eat.
I never know what I want to eat. I have brain fog. I've got 5
Yes,
kids asking
exactly.
me,
Yep.
like, help me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
But then like I get it done and I'm like, oh, I feel so accomplished. Let's do something else.
Yeah.
And then it's like it's
Yeah.
just, I don't know. I think it's just the way people are powered. Like that boundary is hard.
Yeah.
Mm.
I was reading the other day about there's an economist, excuse me,
Feminist?
named John Maynard Keynes from the 1930s, and he's the one who predicted that through technological innovation, our work would become so much more efficient that the average work week would be reduced to just 15 hours.
Mhm.
Oh, he was so fooled.
I feel like that's playing out again with AI.
Mm-hmm.
The efficiency is going to allow we're
Yeah.
going to be able to have so much time for leisure or whatever.
I love AI for math.
Oh,
Like,
same,
I'm
girl.
always like giving it these like crazy math problems, and it's just solving things for me
Yeah.
because my math brain is not.
I saw
Well.
a meme the other day that said, if both you and I are doing math in our heads, just know I'm not.
I'm
and it's
not.
all me. I was like, that's
funny.
funny.
I think to conclude this section, I think the conversation that needs to happen here is just, I think, how can you tell if something was AI generated? That's a question that I think is always worth asking.
Hey, I'm Bree. I just wanted to pop in and say that today's episode is made possible thanks to The Table. That's our amazing community of monthly givers who make sure that Access resources stay free for families everywhere. So if your family's been impacted by what Access does and you want to pass that on to other families, I'd love to invite you to join us at The Table. Head to www.access.org/thetable and join us today.
So as we were kind of pointing out, the self-imposed relentless production schedule that Green was using was encouraging him to rely more and more heavily on artificial intelligence to maintain that pace. But I think in some ways that sort of pace stands in direct contrast to our final topic this week, which is the new Spider-Man movie, which comes out 5 years after Spider-Man No Way Home for a variety of reasons. And it's a movie that many fans are saying was well worth the wait. Our third part of this podcast, swing and a hit. Spider-Man Brand New Day landed in theaters with $932 million in global ticket sales. I can't even count that high.
I thought
I have to use Chat GPT to do
yeah,
the math.
right? That's where
Of
I would
counting.
help
Not
you.
doing that math in my head.
It was the biggest domestic opening of any film ever.
Dang.
And just a heads up, this section of the podcast will contain spoilers for the new Spider-Man movie. So if you don't want that, feel free to fast forward to the end of this podcast, where we'll do a little culture
Yeah, there's no way
roundup.
we're gonna
How
not
could
spoil
we
it.
not?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry guys.
Now, the three of you have seen it. I have not. All right.
So
I've
we're gonna
not seen
spoil it.
So go ahead and spoil it. If I ask any questions, they will come from behind a veil of ignorance. Bree, let's start with you. What stands out to you about this movie? What's most significant in your view?
I thought you were gonna go the direction when we were talking about like keeping up with the pace, just the amount of
did
movies.
too, and then he's like in direct contrast, and I was
I
like,
thought we were
wait,
going
no.
like the Tom Holland Zendaya route of just like how many movies they're putting out.
Well, that's funny because part of why they delayed this movie was because he wanted to star in the Odyssey.
Right, right.
So just, get another film in.
He's in the top 4 biggest movies of all time. Tom Holland is in all 4 of them.
What a guy.
Wow.
Talk about output.
Yeah.
Seriously.
That's crazy.
Seriously. Yeah, it was funny because I think I mentioned it like 2 seconds ago. I have 5 kids, and sometimes between my husband and I just need a minute. And I was like, I'm going to go see a movie. by myself.
Oh,
Like,
yeah?
loved it. And it was literally, which Tom Holland Zendaya movie do I want to see, The Odyssey or Spider-Man? And I didn't want to see The Odyssey solo. So I went to Spider-Man and I loved it. I mean, the hype, I feel like it lived up to it for sure. And I think it did because it, for me, and hear me, like I like a good superhero movie. I'm probably not your fan base, so to speak. But there was something about this one that I felt like kind of hit a little bit lower, than, in a good way, than most of our, superhero movies.
More relatable?
Do.
Yeah.
Super relatable. There was like, were several.
Less about the multiverse.
Yeah,
More
right. There were like
as relatable as that is.
There were several really deep themes within it that I thought were really cool. Some of it was quite Axis coded when it had to do with like Peter Parker's relationship with Aunt May and like her legacy and her influence on him. So before I just, monologue about this, you two have seen it. So
Yes.
what did you like? What didn't you like? What do you think?
I mean, gosh, I love Marvel everything. The last couple Marvel movies have been a little bit of a letdown, but I'm bought in, so I will always show up. And I thought this was maybe one of the best that there has been so far. I loved it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there was not one moment where I was like, what is happening? Also, I accidentally bought D-Box tickets, which means that the seats like move and vibrate and like all of the things. And like,
So you were like in it.
I was like,
Yeah.
I was in that movie. There was one point where I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like I just got hit by that. Like, it was a little wild. But I will say that like, I think that the themes in it, it was a very like encouraging, so many good messages. Like you talked about his relationship with Aunt May. I think about his relationship with Frank is, amazing. And again, he's another one that speaks into him about just kind of owning who he is and things. And so it was, I loved it. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
So is that what you loved about it primarily? Like the encouraging the identity investments?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, it talks about changing. It talks about, I love the action pieces in it too. Like, they're always fun. But there's...
There were just several, okay. Sorry, Evan, spoiler.
I know.
Go
I
for
was
it.
like, I don't want to spoil it yet.
I've
And I
done
was
this
like,
to
maybe
myself.
we're gonna get away with that without spoiling it.
Trying. So obviously, last Spider-Man movie, there's a spell that's cast because he's trying to protect everybody in his life, ends up having to wipe everybody's memory of the fact that he is Spider-Man. And so you're opening up into this movie of Peter Parker is experiencing just a ton of loss across the board. So it's
He's just alone.
Yeah, completely isolated, completely alone. He, MJ doesn't remember who he is. Ned doesn't remember who he is. Aunt May has died. Tony Stark has died. And
You're just ruining all the movies now.
Sorry.
Doesn't know who he is.
And what was so interesting about it, though, that I found myself thinking about throughout the whole movie is that, like, for us as humans, when everything that we've built our identity on kind of gets stripped away, or we lose it, or like if we've built our identity on our job and we lose it, or we've built our identity on a relationship and we lose it, or whatever the case might be. So who are we left with?
Yeah.
Like who are we without all of these things? And I think that's such an important thing to wrestle with, whether you're an adult, whether you're a teen, like no matter what. So that was one that I sat through the movie thinking about.
Yeah.
The other one was the fact that there's this reoccurring, like Peter Parker keeps going back to this memory of him and his aunt where they're like sitting on a bed and she's essentially like speaking over him.
Yeah.
Like who he truly is, apart from Spider-Man, apart from his role, apart from all these things, and how important it is not to forget like who you truly are.
Yeah.
And I started thinking, I mean, Aunt May is the parental figure for Peter Parker. And I started thinking about the legacy that parents really leave or have the opportunity to leave with our kids of just like speaking over them constantly like, hey, I know you think you're this, 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 and this. I know you think this, 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 and this is important. And maybe to a degree that it is. Here's who you really are. And constantly calling them forward. And because she's died, her legacy, her words, her memory, like hasn't. And that's something that has stuck with him and propelled him forward throughout the whole movie, which I thought was good. I mean, I could keep going.
I mean, I could speak into some of that with like kids, and if you're thinking like you know your kids have these really big dreams, if you're like athletes, or I've had like big theater kids and who kind of build their identity around you know the sport or whatever it is, and it's like, what if there's an injury, or what if they don't make it in the industry or whatever it is, like will they know who they are at their core and who they belong to? And so for me, my daughter, she wants to be an actress. She lives in California. She's working really hard, and there's always been this like thing that I want to just plant inside of her, that like she is a child of God and this is what he says about you. And just to continually push that to the forefront of her, because that's a tough place to be when you're an athlete or whatever it is, and you're not good enough, or you're not going to make it, or whatever it is, to remember who you are. And I think that's what May was doing for Peter Parker. And probably one of the most important things that we can do as parents.
I was thinking about athletes as you guys were talking, and you know, the ones who build so much of their high school, maybe junior high, sometimes career, quote unquote, on being an athlete. And that's such a central part of their identity. And then they don't go on to, they get injured, or they don't go on to play in college or beyond. And then what is left? And it's, I mean, what you guys are pointing out is so important, right?
I do want to speak into another part of the movie. I think that like all of the themes and everything were amazing, and again, it was a great movie. But I think that if you are a Christian parent and you're trying to make that decision on whether you want your kids to see this or you don't want them to see it, I do think there's two pieces to it. I think if you are already a Marvel fan, you're already into the superheroes, all of this stuff, then you go into it with kind of a science fiction mind. But there is the piece where one of the, not villains, but the person who is doing all of the things is jumping into other people's minds. Which I think can be taken in a different route, as like, again, there wasn't a spell or anything this route with it, but I think that you can see it two ways. One, again, as just science fiction, or two, as something that's a little bit more demonic. And so I just think that, kind of, if you're thinking about the movie and thinking about taking your kids with you, it's like, great, can you and your kids have that conversation about how this is just science fiction? And just kind of setting yourself up there.
Does it come off to you more like possession or more like mind reading?
Well, they talk about it in the movie on whether it is possession or whether it's kind of mind reading. And I think that they do just like Peter Parker is like, it's possession. Like they're not themselves. Like she's possessing their minds. And so it is, and it gets stronger and stronger throughout the movie. Like that theme picks up towards kind of towards the middle to end. So yeah, I just think it's a point to, again, that's another conversation that could come out of it.
I think it's two separate directions of, I think you as a parent just use your discretion. You know your child the best. You know if this is, if we're ready to have these types of conversations. And if you're a parent and you decide, I think my child is of age, I think it is a really good conversation about how the enemy does work and how the enemy does speak. And it'll sound just truthful enough, but it's always trying to rupture our identity of who we truly are. And then, I think Annette, like if to kind of go into more of the spiritual realm of it too, I think a lot of this movie talks about sort of a philosophical idea of love too, because all of the, and it's a type of philosophical idea that I feel like people have been wrestling through all of the time, is love a feeling? Is it an action? What constitutes as love? I think, J.R.R. Tolkien has all his thoughts and everything, C.S. Lewis, Thomas Aquinas, all of that. And what I see in this is that because like the definition of love is the willing of the good of somebody else constantly, regardless of what it costs of you, right? And you see that with Peter Parker is that he is willing the good of MJ, and he's willing the good of Ned, and he's willing the good of all of New York, no matter what it cost him. And I think a lot of times our definitions of love get really murky in the sense that, well, love is this feeling that I have between myself and somebody else, and we would just, we'll forsake all others for the sake of one another. And there's hear me, that's true. But I think Peter Parker is loving without anything coming in return.
And that's where he gets pushed into that dark isolation.
Yes.
You see him go through like both mental and physical pain like throughout this.
Yep.
And it's from that place of isolation.
Yep. Yeah. Totally. Yeah. Absolutely. And so I think that those are really good conversations also, is that like what does true love actually look like? What does a healthy love look like?
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think people blur the lines because you're talking about MJ and Peter, but then you've got like Tom Holland and Zendaya just got married, and a lot of people are talking about their relationship right now. And I think I struggle to, I don't want to compare the two, because I know that we talked earlier on about some of the struggles that were with Ariana Grande and what does that say to our rising generation and things like that. But I do look at the relationship, at least what's put forward by Tom Holland and Zendaya, as like a really healthy, example of relationship for the younger generation, for sure.
I agree. I so agree.
Like they spend so much time
protecting and talking about each other in such a beautiful way.
Yes.
Like every interview, Tom says something wonderful about Zendaya, and she says something about Tom, and it's just like it's so lovely to see.
And we've talked about, just even some of the pressure that women feel in general, just kind of moving through life. And here's a male presence who is allowing his female counterpart to just shine all the time and really build her up and honor her in public. And then she does the same for him. I think it's a really beautiful example. Yeah.
Do you think that would be the main conversation that you would want to have off of Spider-Man, is about the way it portrays love?
I don't know. I think there's a couple of great conversation directions. I think what it portrays about love is one that would be super deep and probably have tentacles that go 1,000 different directions. I think the other really strong component is identity. And, who are we at our core if everything we think we are, or everything we've built our life upon, gets stripped away?
That's good. Thanks for tuning into the Roundtable this week. On your way out, here's a quick survey of some of the rest of the cultural landscape. Number 1, the current owners of MySpace, Tim and Chris Vanderhook, announced that they plan to relaunch the classic social media platform, though they did not say when.
That's like the one
I feel like there's no way it's going to work.
Irene, I'd put you in my top 8.
All the millennials will be so excited.
And I just said Tim, but I remember it was Tom.
It was Tom.
It was Tom, who was always in your top 8 to begin with.
We'll call him Tom.
Oh, yeah.
He was your first friend.
Right.
Not Tim.
He was your first friend.
Tim was not part of it. Number 2, according to the Wall Street Journal, this summer's hottest drink is a bottle of water.
Whoa.
Or is it the coolest drink?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Ashley, the water company would like to hire you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Sorry,
Diet
it's
Coke.
called Lunin is the name of the drink, and it's bougie. That's according to the Wall Street Journal. But number 3, according to Vogue, the big drink of the summer has been banana milk coffee.
Oh.
Does that seem more true?
I think I'm being influenced by all of the like Korean 7-Eleven videos that I see. I want it. They go in, they get their cup of ice, and then they put the banana and
the power
and
power of social media.
I know. Power of social media.
I need banana milk.
I didn't even know banana milk existed.
I didn't either.
I didn't either. It felt like a couple of random nouns thrown together.
How do you milk a banana?
Number 4, Netflix is getting sued for $105 million for losing a copy of Nicolas Cage's World War II film, which is called Fortitude.
Crazy.
I was like, I thought everything was digital.
Something. Yeah.
Maybe they're still whizzing around with DVDs
Like,
in
was
there.
it just a cassette? Like,
yeah.
Doesn't that happen with
VHS
Toy
tape, you mean?
Story too?
Oh,
Though one of the
yes.
Toy Story movies, something similar happened, and
It
somebody
does
had it
sound-
like saved on a hard drive, and that saved it or something. I'm not making it up.
I don't know this story.
It does sound like
It happened, right, Jordan?
Yeah, so apparently Toy Story 2.
Oh, sorry. For some reason, I thought I was going to be hearing you over speakers.
But yeah,
Where?
Toy Story 2, they literally deleted the movie on accident. Like, all the hard work was nearly finished, and there's a lady who was on maternity leave that just so happened to have the last backup. So they lost like a week's worth of work versus the entire movie.
and she got a raise.
Listen to me. Never underestimate a woman on maternity leave and what she can do with that time.
Wow. How about that? Number 5, final thing this week. Christianity Today posted an article making the case that Instagram Plus is really just Instagram minus. Kind of agreeing with something we wrote a couple
We
of
love that.
Yeah, no, they made their own case, but our own Jenna Mendel was the writer. So
And
there's the overlap. Shout out to that. We'll have links in the show notes if you want to explore any of these further. For now, goodbye from all of us, and we'll see you back next week.
Thanks so much for watching. This podcast is made possible because of our generous donor community, The Table. To help us support more parents and other caring adults through culture translation, we'd love to invite you to check out The Table by clicking right here. Also, if you've been impacted by what we do, would you consider letting us know with a like, comment, and/or subscription, as well as sharing this episode with someone you think could benefit? Thanks for caring about having intentional conversations with the next generation.